2003 Saturn Vue. I want to show everybody how the console comes apart, because there's the bracket that holds the shifter and a few other things. It deteriorates. You can see all this stuff down here. This is the indicator that there's some serious deterioration taking place beneath the console here. So I'm going to remove that console and kind of vacuum it up, and well, I'll get to it and I'll see what kind of shape it's in actually when I remove it. So stay with me here. The removal process of the outside covers of the console. First, this top piece needs to be removed, and it simply just pulls up. You need to be a little careful and gentle, but you do need to apply some pressure. It's just clipped on, so we need to lift this out of the way. I'm going to try and do this with one hand, and one hand holding the camera, which is probably not going to be easy. Okay, now let me further look into this. There's another little front piece here, which is also clipped in. This little piece here, you can see the line. There's a line there, and there's a line here. And that just basically comes off like this. And I need to get a screwdriver, a star head screwdriver. There's a screw here that needs to be removed. So bear with me and I'll be right back. Okay, going to remove the screw. Not normally tight screws, it's just basically going into plastic here, so put your screw in a place you won't lose it. And also okay, there was another screw way down inside of here. Now it's very hard to remove. You cannot use a screwdriver. So what I used was a socket Phillips driver, meant to go on a ratchet. So I cracked it loose with a ratchet because there wasn't very much room for the two of them to be down there to release the screw. So once I cracked it loose, then I spun it with my hand without the ratchet on there. Worked out good. There's also another screw up underneath here. And that's all I'm going to remove. I'm not going to completely separate it. And then once you have those two screws off, the one right here plus the one underneath, you have these little pins that you have to lift over to free it. And the bottom one has one the same idea as this top one you see here. So you basically have to pry it out this way to release it from that little pin, and then it becomes free. And that's all I want to basically do is free it so I can see actually down in here and see how bad this corrosion is. Don't mind the shakiness of the camera, just kind of maneuvering myself. And you can see down in there, I'm just going to basically vacuum it and clean it up. But you can see down in here, this is all corrosion. Like, look at all that. Isn't that something? It's all corrosion from that shifter bracket there decaying. And I don't know what does it. I'm thinking a bad ground but that's all corrosion, deterioration. It's incredible. So I want to vacuum it out of there. Hopefully maybe it'll kind of slow the process down a little bit. But unbelievable. I mean, look at this stuff. And that's what the bracket is. It's this bracket. It's like a white metal. I don't think it's aluminum. I think it's just a white metal. And it literally deteriorates. I mean, the bottom of that is actually completely deteriorated. I wish I could show you better. See the deterioration down there to that? That's supposed to continue down to the floor and be bolted to it. And it's the same with the very, very front part of it. You see how it's deteriorated? Unbelievable. So it's still fairly tight. Actually, it's solidly tight still. So I'm not going to worry about trying to change the bracket itself. I'm just going to clean up all that corrosion. And I'm just going to vacuum it up. And then clean the vacuum up, of course, because I don't want that stuff to stay inside the vacuum. So let me get the vacuum here and start the process. Some of this stuff's a little bit wet, but the vacuum will deal with it, and then I'll just clean the vacuum out later. You're going to hear the vacuum turn on. It's kind of an awkward spot to get into, there's no doubt about it. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me speak while I'm vacuuming it, so I just won't speak. You'll hear the vacuum going and eventually see all that stuff in there, down in there, disappear. Okay, that's good enough for the inside part. Now I just can basically put it back together here, and it goes back together the opposite way as it came apart. The clip there, you see the little pin clipped in, and there's the bottom one. There, that one's clipped in, I'll put the screws back in. This actual top piece can go back on. It's nice because it just pops in place. Put the front side in first, and then this back part. I'm going to leave it a little bit loose because I need to put this cap back on the front of this console. Very simple. If you actually want to remove the cover itself completely, you have to remove this panel here, because you have other screws that are up and beneath this panel to remove this completely out of the way. In my case, I didn't have to remove it completely out of the way, so didn't want to get involved with that. But gave everybody a good idea anyway what's involved to widening enough to so you can clean up all that decayed mess down there. I'm going to get the screwdriver again so I can tighten up that screw. I'm going to look for a paper towel so I can clean the screwdriver up, because that's pretty gross. There we go. I better move this little piece of paper towel out of the way before I make a bigger mess. Fold it up and such that it stays inside, and I'll just throw it on the floor and throw it in the garbage later. So back at the screw. Okay, unfortunately I can't video that bottom screw because I need both hands to get down in there. So bear with me and I'll be right back. Okay, we're going to slide this front hiding cover in place. Line it up. Push it back in, clip it. There, clip, clip. It's back in. Now this top piece here, we're going to push it down. Clip, 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 clip. Back intact. I'm going to put that screw back up on the underneath the underside here, up in that spot right here. Gotta move the vacuum out of the way. Kind of an awkward hole to get to too, but if this panel here was removed, they're very easily accessed, them screws, very easily. Not so easy to get to them with that cover remaining in place, but it's doable. It's accessible enough that a screwdriver can actually get in there and take it in or out. And I'm putting it back in at the moment. Oh, there we have it. Now I'll just give it a little vacuum. Suck up the remainder corrosion particles. You're going to hear the vacuum turn back on. Give me a moment, be back with you. Oh, there, you guys are not going to want to watch me vacuum the front floor carpeting. So anyhow, I'm going to continue vacuuming here and get the rest of this carpet clean. Thank you for watching. I hope this was tipful for those that have a Saturn Vue and would like to know how the console cover separates. Thank you again for watching. Subscribe if you would, please.